The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter is made possible by a contribution from Rather Dashing Games.
Graveyards, Ghosts, and Haunted Houses is a tile-laying game from Rather Dashing Games. It is for 2 to 4 players where we are going to be assuming the identity of one of the ghosts. We're going to be placing tiles to try to basically match up and create a large area of our colored ghosts. We're also going to be able to place our haunted house on tiles in order to lock them. Now we also have some special tokens. We have the gravestones, which are going to block progress and cut off areas from one to another. We have paranormal investigators, which other players are probably going to try to drop those on our areas because that's worth negative points. And we also have meddling kids, which kind of like Scooby-Doo, where we want to have those on our areas because they're going to give us positive points. So let's take a look at the game and then see what Dad's lunch group thinks of it. Graveyards, Ghosts, and Haunted Houses plays between 2 and 4 players. So the first thing you're going to do is choose which ghost that you would like. So let's just say that Dad chooses the green ghost. And so I'm going to take this haunted house in my ghost color. I am then also going to take 2 of each type of token. I have 2 of the meddling kids, 2 of the paranormal investigators, and 2 of the gravestones. Each player is going to be dealt 3 tiles, and they'll also have their haunted house as kind of their opening hand. So what we will do on our turn is we can either place a tile from our hand to the table, or we can place our haunted house onto the table, or if our haunted house is already on the table, we can move it to another location. And I'll talk about this in a little bit as we get our tiles down on the table. After several turns, our board may look something like this. However, we might also have some special tiles in our hand that are going to give us certain abilities. So let me talk about those right now. We have Rotate, which means that when I place this tile onto the board here, I can rotate a tile of any other tile. So let's just say that I place that tile right there, and let's say that I am the green player. I may want to rotate this tile to that orientation because you're only going to score your largest section of ghosts. So I want to try to get the largest section I can. So in this way, I would have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as opposed to the way it was before, where I'd only have 5. So that is the rotate. We also have swap. So if I place this tile on the board, let's just say that that tile was placed here, I can swap the location of any 2 tiles. So let's just say that I want to swap these 2. And I will place that tile there, and I'll place this tile like that. We have the replace action. So after I place this on the board, let's say that I put that tile there. I may wish to take a tile from the board. Let's just say that I am going to take this tile, and let's say that this tile was in my hand. Then I could play this tile down there because I may want to try to move that tile at a later time. The last action that we can do is the place token action, which is represented by this icon. So again, let's just say that I place that there. Now I can place one of those 6 tiles, 6 tokens that I have in my hands. So let's talk about what each one of those does right now. Let's talk about the nastiest one first, at least in my opinion, and that is the gravestone. So what this does is it basically cuts off the contiguous area of ghosts. So looking at my example board here, let's just say that I knew that the blue player was wanting to connect over here. I could place a gravestone token there, essentially cutting those 3 off. Also, since the gravestone is covering one of those, he now would only have an area of 2, 4, 6 instead of 9. Keeping with the ones that are nasty, here is the Paranormal Investigator. Now, what he's going to do is, if he is in an area that someone is going to score, he is actually going to be worth -3 points. So let's just say on another player's turn, they decided to be mean and nasty to Dad, because that's what they like to do. And they knew that I was going for this area here as my largest area. They may plop that guy right down there. Now, he does not block anything from being connected. So let's just say that there was another tombstone there. The tombstone does block this part off, but the Paranormal Investigator, basically you can keep going through there, so he would be connected back up that way as well. And then finally, the Meddling Kids, which kind of, neat little artwork there. What those guys are going to do is they are going to give you 3 points. So let's say that in order to counteract that Paranormal Investigator, I decided to place some Meddling Kids there. Now, they also, like the Paranormal Investigator, do not block the contiguous area off. So let's just say, for example, that, move some things around, that I had that tile there, okay? And just put that back. So, for instance, I would be counting this whole area here in my scoring. That would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These guys would cancel each other out. But I could still go through. Now, someone may want to move this token, or if they had another one, and place it right there. Actually, let's just say that this token was not there. If they place the tombstone there, that essentially cuts off those 4 scoring. So that's what those do. Now, kind of in this belongs in museum, which is also from Rather Dashing, and very similar to this. If you don't wish to do the action on the tile, this is when you can start doing stuff with the tokens that are already on the board. So for instance, if you didn't want to do the rotate, you could actually move a token that's already in play to another vacant space. So let's just say that I played this rotate tile, and I didn't want this investigator on my area. I wanted him over there in the orange group. So I could move him there. On the swap, if I don't want to do that, I can actually swap 2 tokens in play. So let's just say that the Meddling Kid was there. Okay, I may want to swap this tombstone, put this over there, and put that guy there, or was he there? One of those. So swap the location of, or swap the positions of those 2 tokens. The replace is, let's say that I didn't want to do the replace action, and I wanted to replace this Paranormal Investigator, let's say if I was the orange player, with Meddling Kids. I could do that. Now, when you do that, you get to actually keep that tile in your hand. Well, not really in your hand, but he's a tile that you can place again later. So now let's talk about the haunted houses. Now, what these do is they essentially lock tiles. So, and you're going to score double points for the ghosts that are in there. And it can be any color ghost. So I could put a haunted house there. When it comes to my turn to score, I'll score 2 points instead of 1 point for that ghost there, which I really wouldn't do that. I wouldn't place a tile there. But what I might do is I might place a tile, or my haunted house here, because now I have 4 of my ghosts in that haunted house, which is going to be 2, 4, 6, 8 points. Plus, I've essentially locked these 4 tiles from being moved. And people cannot put any of these tokens on my haunted house either. So they could say, for instance, if they had a gravestone, they could do this, but that's not really going to affect me much, because I would still be connected if I were the green player to all that. The only thing that they're doing is they're basically taking 1 point away from me. So moving your haunted house to a location to lock in tiles is your best bet. You could even lock in just 2 tiles if you wanted, or like I showed before, you could do 1. But you're probably going to want to have that where you are locking 4 tiles. So that really is the game. When the last player takes the last tile from the stack, that triggers the end. Everybody gets one last turn, and then we score our largest area. So for instance, if this is my largest area, I'll get 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 12, 13, 14, 15, plus 3 would be 18 points. So in a 2-player game, everything is going to basically play the exact same way, except that you are going to be controlling 2 different ghosts. So let's say I wanted to be green and I would be white. So I would be both of those colored ghosts. I will actually get more of the tokens. Instead of getting 2 apiece, I will get 4 apiece. So I'll get 4 tombstones, 4 meddling kids, and 4 paranormal investigators. I also don't know if I mentioned this, but also at the end of your turn, so you've played a tile, you've done the tile action, the last thing you do is you draw back up so that you have 3 tiles in your hand. So now that I've taught you how to play the game and showed you the components, let's get to what my lunch group thinks. So kind of like This Belongs in a Museum, this falls into the same category. It's a tile laying game. It's very easy. It's very quick. In fact, we've played multiple games over one lunch. So the group likes the fact that it's a quick game. There's not a lot of rules to worry about. We're already familiar with the rules in This Belongs in a Museum, which I think is just kind of a notch above this. The special actions are basically the same, with the exception of the place tokens and the ability to, instead of moving mummies in This Belongs in a Museum, you're manipulating the tokens that are on the board. So you don't feel like you're always being stuck with that. The components, these are very thick, sturdy components there. The artwork it's okay. It's serviceable. I think the tombstone artwork and the meddling kids is just kind of funny. And I realize that this is kind of a light art style. Might be neater to have something that was a little bit more spookier, but this makes it accessible to everybody. And that's another point, is that anybody can play this game. You can get grandma to play it, gamers and non-gamers alike. So I would classify this as not a gateway game, but one that would be below that. But it is fun. It's entertaining. It's a great way to kill some time at lunch. And that's pretty much what everybody in the lunch group thought was. It's not real deep. It's this time of year when we're looking for something that kind of goes along the line of kind of a spooky theme, and this kind of fits the bill. So we found it enjoyable. We probably won't pull this out until next Halloween again. We'll play it for a few days and also play some other games. So overall, good game. We enjoyed it. So that is Graveyards, Ghosts, and Haunted Houses, and we will catch you guys next time. If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.